Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the musical instruments. Are you ready? Anything set up to create sound vibration can become a musical instrument. Of all the instruments, the human voice is the oldest and most popular. The voice, as a medium of musical expression, is so intimate, personal, and direct. It is the most ideal exponent of lyric, melody, and has been the model of instrumentalists in expressing musical impulses. Musical instruments are divided into four families: the string, woodwind, brass, and percussion. The string instruments. The stringed instrument section includes the violin, viola, cello, guitar, and double bass. These instruments have four strings, which are played by means of a bow. They can also be played by plucking, called pizzicato. The guitar is a plucked pizzicato instrument with a flat, black and inward curving sides, somewhat six strings, and is said to be of Oriental origin. Revival of interest in guitar music was done by the Spanish. The violin has an extremely wide range, admired for its singing tone, which is the instrument closest to the human voice. The greatest violin maker was Antonio Stradivari, an Italian of origin. Viola is bigger than a violin. Its strings are longer, thicker, and heavier, and is lower in range. It is an ideal instrument to express mournful and passionate nature and situation. Cello, violoncello, is popularly known as cello. It has lower range than the viola, notable for its lyric quality and dark resonance in the lower range. In the orchestra, the cellos can perform functions similar to the violins and violas. The double bass is so large that it is played standing. It has the lowest range in the string section. It plays the bass part, the foundation of the harmony. Woodwind instruments. The woodwind of the orchestra consists of members of four different families: piccolo, flute, oboe, and clarinet, an English horn. The tone of the woodwind instrument is produced by a column of air vibrating within a pipe that has little holes at the sides. Piccolo means little flute. It has a piercing tone that produces the highest note in the orchestra. The tone is shrilled in the upper register that sounds like a bird call. Flute, or also known as flute recorder. It is the orchestra soprano of the woodwind choir. It is one of the oldest instruments. Its tone color ranges from the poetic to the brilliant, cool, and velvety in the lower register and smooth in the middle. Oboe is made up of wood. The double reed is the mouthpiece, consists of two slips of canes so shaped as to leave between them a small passage for air. This instrument is associated with pastoral scenes and nostalgic melodies. It sounds mysterious. Clarinet is a single reed instrument. The tone is beautiful, clear, and powerful. In the higher register, relaxed in the middle, and cool and almost spectral in the low register. This is considered the alto of the woodwind family. Bass clarinet. It has a rich, flexible, wide, and dynamic tone, making it an invaluable member of an orchestra. The range is one octave lower than that of the clarinet. The bassoon. It has a heavy, thick tone in the low register, dry and sonorous in the middle, reedy, intense, and somewhat funny in the upper register. It is called the clown of the orchestra. The contrabassoon, also known as the double bassoon, produces the lowest tone in the orchestra. In the woodwind section, it is compared to the double bass among the strings, and that is supplies the foundation for the harmony. English horn. It has a heavy, thick tone in the low register, dry and sonorous in the middle, reedy, intense, and somewhat funny in the upper register. It is called the clown of the orchestra. Brass instruments. The brass family consists of the trumpet, cornet, trombone, horn, and tuba. This section can be utilized in playing melodies, sustaining harmony, rhythmic accent for mass tone, and sonority that contributes to the climax of the music. These instruments have cup-shaped mouthpieces, except for the French horn, whose mouthpiece is shaped like a funnel. The trumpet. It is associated with martial music. The tone is firm, brilliant, that gives radiance to the orchestral mass. Trombone. It is an Italian word which means large trumpet. It has its sonorous tone that combines the brilliance of the trumpet and the majesty of the horn. The horn. It is generally called French horn. Has 4 valves, played by the left hand instead of the right hand, like the trumpet and cornet. This instrument was first developed by the French kings for elaborate hunting calls. Tuba. It is the bass of the brass choir. It furnishes the harmonic foundation of the section. It is made of metal and has 3 valves, but some tube has a 4 valve, thus expanding the range of the instrument. The cornet. It is very similar to the trumpet. It has 3 valves, the same cap-shaped mouthpiece, but partly cylindrical and partly conical in bore. The tone is more mellow, less piercing, and shorter in length than the trumpet. Let's move along in percussion instruments. The term percuss means to strike, so that all instruments whose manner of playing is either by striking, plucking, or strumming, directly or indirectly, fall under the percussion instrument. The percussion of the orchestra is divided into 2: the percussion with definite pitch and the percussion without definite pitch. Percussion with definite pitch. Timpani or kettle drum are used in sets of 2, 4, or 6 drums. It is a hemisphere copper shell across which is stretched, head of calf skin, held by a metal ring. It is played with 2 padded sticks, which may be either soft or hard. Xylophone consists of tuned blocks of wood which produce a dry, crisp timbre when struck. It is frequently used in primitive cultures, particularly in Africa. Celesta. It resembles a small upright piano. It is operated by a keyboard. The steel plates, when struck by a small hammer, produces an ethereal sound. It is best adapted to light and graceful effects. Pianoforte, popularly known as piano. It is the most popular instrument used in the home as well as in the concert stage. Its strings inside the body of the piano are struck with little hammers controlled by a keyboard. The harp. It is said to be the oldest musical instrument. It was the traditional instrument of the bands of the ancient Britain and Ireland. Its strings are played by plucking and produce a crystalline tone that blends well. The chimes are bell-like sounds. It is a set of metal tubes suspended from a metal frame, chromatically tuned and struck with a wooden hammer. They are employed to produce the effect of church bells, hence the alternative name tubular bells. Percussion without definite pitch. Snare drum, also known as side drum. It is a small drum with two heads stretched over a shell of metal. The upper head, which is struck by the player with his two drumsticks, is called batter head. The lower is called the snare head, which is equipped with two sticks. Castanets consist of cup-shaped wooden clappers clipped rhythmically together by Spanish dancers to whose hands they are attached. In orchestral use, they are mounted in a handle which is shaken. The bass drum, with its Italian name, a gran cassa, a large drum which varies in size both in depth and diameter. The heads are thicker and the tension is much less than with smaller drums, which produces a deep sonorous sounds. Cymbals. It consists of two large circular brass plates of equal size, made slightly convex so that only the edges will touch together. They are struck together with a sliding motion to create a crashing sound. The gongs, also called tam-tam, of Chinese origin, a broad circular disc of metal, slightly convex with the edges turned, giving it the appearance of a shallow plate with low vertical sides. It is suspended on a frame so as to hand freely and is struck. Triangle. It is small, round bar of steel bent in shape of triangle, open at the upper end, struck with beater of the same metal or material. The tone is penetrating and should be used sparingly. It can play single strokes, rhythmic, sparingly, and rolls. Tambourine. It is a small single-headed drum, the shell of which is pierced at intervals to allow the insertion of loosely hanging timbales made of circular metal plates, usually in pairs connected by a metal wire which passes through the holes. That's the end of our discussion.